need help there. So the way you become greater is to get with people that are great too. So I really want to encourage everybody to take that action because it is a family. You know, we definitely all want to see everybody win. We want to see everybody, work together. We want to see you. She created this platform not just for herself. This was really about, I want to make impact in the lives of everyday people and let them know that they have an opportunity if they want it and if they're willing to win too, because we can all win together.
All right, good. And so I'll close with saying the anatomy of great leaders look like this. One, you gotta have a purpose. It's your why. Why do you get up in the morning? And let me share, sometimes your pain becomes a purpose. I went through breast cancer not once but twice. I'm an OBGYN who's never had a baby because I was rendered infertile after chemo. But sometimes take your pain, and your purpose is not always the same thing. You weren't born with this one purpose. Your life experiences, your skills, your talents, your finances will determine your purpose, and your purpose can certainly change. And then have passion. Everything you do, you have passion. And if I have any patients in the room, and I won't call your name, when I walk in the room, it's always, good morning, sunshine. And when patients go, hey, I walk out again. Because I want to come in with passion. I want you to have passion too. And then perseverance. Go through some stuff. Misery will give you a ministry. If you've gone through anything in life, you become a minister of that. You can talk about it. And then let me tell you, you gotta have power. I challenge everybody in the room to use your power to be an example. And so if you fail moving forward. I share all my failures so that you can understand the dash between here and where I am now. So make sure you understand the anatomy of great leaders can come with purpose, passion, perseverance, and power.
Wow, that's good. Ooh, wow, it's hard to come in and all that. But I'll say this, and Rebecca says, write the vision, make it plain. Though it may tarry, it will surely come at its appointed time. So I would say, you don't know where you're going if you don't have any directions. And so you got to be the master of your journey. And that being said, you got to know what you want, what you require, and what you need to be successful. So for me, we talked about diversifying incomes. If you're not making money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. That's powerful. That's powerful.
I would say, that's good, that's good. I'm telling you, personal development, self-development is business development. Invest in yourself more than you even invest in your business, especially in the beginning. That means sometimes finances, taking a risk, getting some things for your health, your overall well-being, fortifying yourself, being willing to be humble at times. We talked about confidence. Confidence is not without complete humility, because when you are humble, then you're willing to learn from others. You're willing to be honest about where you are. You can't build anything on a lie. So you have to be honest about where you are in order to build on a strong foundation. And the last thing I think would be to, again, proximity. The people that you're around, how you spend your energy is going to make a difference in whether or not you invest in yourself. So making sure that the people that you're around, who you're bouncing things off of, that they have been where you want to go. If you're talking to people who haven't done what you've done and they're discouraging, it's because they can't see any further than you can. So you want to be with people who are further along, up the road, down the street, have been there and done that. There's so many things I've learned directly from Dr. Heavenly in the first version of Dr. Heavenly University. I remember where we were in Duluth.
Right.
And there's so much that was years ago. So many things that I've learned by just being in close proximity. So proximity is power.
And I agree, to piggyback off of what Dr. Jada was saying. So I'm the millennial up here, and just to be around so much wisdom where I can sit down at a table and ask them questions and they give real life answers. I think if it's any advice I can give to anybody, always get a good mentor. It's just that simple, because my mom can have the best advice in the world for me, but she's only speaking from her perspective. It's not speaking from a business that I've run. So whatever you choose to do, if you wanna run a little bit faster, sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been created. And a lot of times we get a mentor and we like, can you help me for free? It's okay to pay a mentor. Like, hey, I just wanna rub elbows with you and figure out what you're doing, so I'm not reinventing the wheel and making it harder on myself.
Right, and I love that. I love what she just said about having a mentor. Because imagine if you could cut off 20 years of learning, right? Because you could learn something from Dr. Jewel, Dr. Jada, Dr. Jackie, Phaedra, and they've had these experiences, right? So it took them 20 years to learn it, right? But they can teach you in 90 days. That's why I developed Dr. Hamilton University, my mastermind class, right? I have a mastermind course coming out. It's an online course, right? You come in and we get the history of each of the finances, tools that you need to be successful. The hardest part is the mindset. Once you get that, making money is easy because there's so many ways to make it. Ask Warren Buffett or anybody. It's easy to make money once you get your mind right. But like I say, sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's your mom. They might have a limiting belief, right? That keeps you from going as far as you can. Once you get in your mindset that you have the power, Jewel, that you can speak things into existence because God gave you that power, now you're talking, boo. Now you're talking. And understand, don't have insecurities because everybody working through something. Everybody's got something they working on, baby. You know what I mean? Everybody got something they're working on. So I want to make sure that y'all keep that in mind. And I'm saying all of these ladies here and everybody that I hang around is about mentoring, right? And being in my mastermind course is getting in a room with millionaires. Because you start rubbing off on them and thinking differently. You got to surround yourself with power, right? Powerful people. And then from there, you can grow. You can grow. That's all I got for y'all. Anybody got any questions right quick? We ain't got time for about 3 questions if you have one. Anybody got a question? Yeah, baby.
My main passion is cooking. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I love it. I sell plates on the weekend with you. I've been watching you. You've been saying that the cooking water. So how do I? Because all I've been thinking about is getting a building for my restaurant.
Okay. I think maybe you should start online with maybe some cooking tools, some meal prep. Go ahead, baby.
I love some meal
Please let me know what you're cooking. I don't have time to cook sometimes. I think, of course, in cooking, you got catering, you got special events, you got athletic stuff, you got food trucks now. There's so many ways to cook, and you can rent food trucks for just a limited amount of time. So find the biggest festival and bring your food there.
And like it's about seed and harvest. So find somebody you can sow into their lives. Maybe cook for Phaedra, I'm making up some stuff. And then she's gonna tell somebody who's gonna tell somebody. Because I think it was Jada, I was struggling. I'm on call, I'm doing this. I could never get laundry done. But every 2 or 3 weeks, I was just behind. I was going out buying new stuff because I couldn't get all the laundry done. She told me about a young lady who started washing clothes for people during the pandemic. And I've been telling everybody about her. Now she goes around on Wednesday and pick up everybody's clothes in my neighborhood. You keep your underwear at home. Right. But she washes all my scrubs, all the towels and everything, folds them up neatly, nice, put them back on the doorstep, run my credit card, and she's doing it. So you just start sewing your cooking into the life.
I've done that. I just started about a month ago with my church, giving food to the Burn Center families. I live in Augusta. So I think on Thursdays we have a day, they have a certain meal that they like, it's just taco day or whatever, or Mexican day. I just cook a whole lot of food for those families. That's their family member that can't go nowhere to eat.
Plant a seed, it takes time to grow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Continue to follow us at drhamlinuniversity.com. We have a lot of information on my website as well. And join my Facebook group. I have a private Facebook group where we drop information every week, twice a week, right? Callie, twice a week on our Facebook group on how to build a business. And
Okay.
I have a book out there. Dr. Hamilton's Business. Mastermind have worked that gives you the step-by-step process of opening a business, what to do, how to find a location, all that and more at drhamlinuniversity.com. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
The baby, how old are you?
I'm 20. I'm in college right now.
Okay, then what's your question?
My question is, how did you have like a company
So again, confidence has to come from within, and it's gonna be your mindset. If you don't have it, make it up. Start to write it down, start to recite it. There are things in my journal that I've written 3 and 4 pages until I can get it in my brain, read it every day, look over it, and write it in places that you see. You have to build confidence. You don't have to be born with it. You can build confidence. And when you see yourself successful with small things, celebrate that. Congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the shoulder. Reward yourself for small successes. And then you'll begin to build on those. Naturally, the brain has a center in it that likes reward. So the more you reward yourself with positive things, the more you find that you're able to reproduce that over and over and over again. And trust yourself. Trust yourself and be willing to make a couple of mistakes. We call those learning experiences, lessons, right, children? Those are lessons. It doesn't take you out of the game. It doesn't mean you're not big. It doesn't mean that your vision is really broken. It just means that you learn a new aspect of it and you take that wisdom into the next experience. And give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. You do it.
I want to piggyback off what she said. I think that people around you with the edifying words around you mean a whole lot because my mama told me I was smart. So I believed her. You know what I mean? So I didn't put smart people in. I was like, well, you know, I'm smart. I'm going to college and I'm going to be a doctor because my mama told me I could. So when you believe things about yourself, you start preparing for things because you believe it. That's why we say mindset is so important. So God rest her soul. All of my confidence probably came from my mother because she told me I was things. And my man, he told me I was beautiful. When I first met him, I was like, oh, baby, I ain't really saying yes, you are. Okay, so I believed him. So yes, but anybody else got a question? One more question, please, people. Okay, here you have that seat. Sweet tea, what's going on, baby? Stand up. Stand up. Let's see you out there, baby. Stand up.
Throw mouth.
Oh, what's that?
Heavenly,
Yes.
how did you manage into the motherhood and balancing the business and, you know, have the husband, because that's something I'm getting ready to enter into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's an excellent question, right? That's very good. Listen. So when I went to school, I knew that I always wanted, the only reason I honestly went to school was to find a husband. Then I went to middle school. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be an MD, I'm gonna be a DDS, I'm gonna be a DDS, and an MRS to an MD. That was my goal in life. You know, front, you know, 25 years later, I got it. Yes, I traveled. Yes, all of it. It's okay. I ain't traveling, baby. I just had goals and I had a plan. That's called a woman with a plan, right? So listen, you always have a plan. I mean, you got priorities, right? Your children are always going to be your first priority. And Victor knows that. Everybody knows that. Jada, we know our children are our first priority. So anything, I'm sometimes at home thinking about my kids. Sometimes I'm at work thinking about home. So it's never a complete balance. But you know what's most important. If I need my kids to have something, I'm going to be off. I had a job. And you know this, by being married to a doctor, their jobs usually come first. They think, you know what I mean? Their jobs come first. So that's your baby, right? So anything that goes on with the baby, you gotta have a flexible job. That's why I chose dentistry, Dr. Alicia. That I don't have to be on call. I'm not on call. I can set my own schedule. You know, when I first started, I had to do loans. I had to work. I was working. But after a while, you know, okay, I go to work when my kids go to school, right? When my kids go to school, I take them to school. I go to work. I get off in time to pick them up. I get off at 2 o'clock, you know? So sometimes you could be everything, maybe not today, maybe not every night, but I'm every woman, and you make it work, you know? And I ain't gonna say it's easy because it's never easy, right? Motherhood is not easy. Staying at home with your kids is not easy, but you work through it. And I'm telling you, to get anything in this world, I don't know no other way you're gonna have to work for it and make sacrifices. So that's what you gotta know your priorities and what's most important to you. And for me, it's always gonna be God first, my family, and then my career. Any other questions? Well, I said one last one, but lady, come on, sugar, what you got?
Hello. My name is Adrian, and I started writing children's books in 2019 because I gave birth to my son at that time. And when I gave birth, March came, and I wasn't able to go back to the work from home job I had due to the pandemic. So my question is, just how do you get assistance with building the traffic for your online business? And obviously you're paying annually for it, Secretary of State, your email, all of that. How do you increase or enhance the traffic, and actually making purchases? Because people come on the website, outside of social media, doing promotions, what else can you do to, just increase them?
That is such a good question. Good job on your children's books. Yay. That's amazing. You want to do something, of course, creating content is huge, and adding ads to it is huge, but you would want to start doing like lives, come and read with me, and your parents and children from this age, and you go live on Instagram and you read the story, and you have your child there too, because it's so relatable when people can watch you doing it. You can do it on Instagram, you can do it. TikTok now has a live, Facebook has a live. I would create a name, like whatever your children's book name is, and do like a real cute, colorful, branded flyer with you and your child or children, and start advertising it. Meet me, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern for, bedtime story. And so all of a sudden I'll start to, get traction. Then you can reach out to your friends, ask them to post it, ask them to join you on Instagram Live so you can bring them on and say, Stacey's gonna read a little bit to her story, her son right now. And so now I think that could really build, because honestly, I don't see anybody reading children's books on Instagram Live or Facebook Live or any of those things, YouTube Live. And I think if you do that consistently, tell yourself, I'm gonna give this a 6-month run, and ask all your friends, and you can go reach out to some influencers and say, here's the book, here's the flyer, please join me and spread the word. Because I think educating your children and, spending that time with them is so important. So that's what I would do.
Thank you.
So you wrote a children's book, and what I did is, I think I got 10 of them, and I put them in, this was pre-pandemic, before we stopped putting magazines and books in the office. And I just put 5 in each office, because people brought their kids. They tore them up. But just find somebody, again, I'm a big believer in sewing, and sew some books in the lives of some pediatricians and put it in their offices, or have them give gift bags or something like that. And so that's what I did, is put our book in the waiting room, and the kids would sit there and play with the book and tear up the book. But that is something you can do, is sew it into the lives of people who can get that children's book out.
And that is my girlfriend, Thela. I don't know about age, we used to run the streets together. But call me and I'll help you get your literary agent. Because a literary agent, obviously, you could sell the book. And that's usually a nice little advance. So, they're gonna take some of your money. But she wants some money too. They're gonna give you money first, and you gotta make it back. But, a lot of people are into self-publishing, but, my book went through Simon & Schuster, and I think it's nice, trying to change my people up front. So call me, people.
So I thought that was a great question, because a lot of times y'all young folks, y'all just the cookie cutters, y'all got the internet and thinking things are gonna work overnight. It takes time, it takes persistence, it takes competence, it takes patience, it takes discipline. Millionaires think in terms of decades, right? It's never happened overnight, but if you're consistent and you're persistent and you're confident in what you're doing, you have no reason to not take your book based on the information they already gave you. Now I'm gonna answer a question from this little baby right here, because he rose his hand several times. Baby, what's your question, Sugar Bob?
I'm a therapist, and I'm using my income to invest.
How old are you?
33.
Oh, okay, you look younger.
Okay, but I'm using my income to invest in other businesses, with real estate, with transportation. But as you all said, there's mistakes. Sometimes in the car, you're losing a lot of money, and there's days you just want to go to the top. So how do you all stay grounded and just maintain your perseverance, even though that vision is there, but the road is hard?
I think what Phaedra said was really important, and that's writing your vision. A lot of people know where they want to go, but they never write down the actual vision. Whenever I have a goal set, when I first decided to open this brokerage, they had a whole bunch of rules of what you could and what you couldn't do. The first question I asked them was, last year, who won the top award for Asian recruitment? What does that look like? What do the top OPs, which is operating principals, what do their financial statements look like? How do they, dictate finances, seasonality? What does all that look like? And I set goals and wrote them down. And I think if you always have something to look back onto as to where, including faith, right? But if you always have something to actually physically look at, that's where we miss that step. In our head, we know like, oh, I wanna make a lot of money, or I wanna be, but monetize that, figure out that exact number where you wanna be.
Yeah, that's perfect, because failure is a part of success. Anybody know that? I don't know if they lying or not, but if you've been successful at something, you failed at something. That's just a part of it. And fail like it, y'all. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got time, baby. Y'all got time, right? So I'm gonna close with this, y'all. Make sure you follow me on all my platforms, Dr_Headley. Make sure you check out my website, drheadleyuniversity.com, and make sure you join our mastermind course, because it's gonna be powerful. We got bosses like these and more talking about crypto, talking about forex, talking about insurance. That's a way to build generational wealth. We're talking about some passive income. We're talking about real estate. When the people, the investors come out with real estate, right, and they purchase things in Atlanta, by the time they find out it's too late. So you got to be in this investment so you know when to buy. You know what I'm saying? Warren Buffett said, buy when there's blood in the streets. Okay, y'all know what that means? That means when it's a recession, that's a great time. Because you know there's going to be something on $1 on a dime. And if you got your good realtor in your pocket, she's showing you the property. Have it in our mastermind course, and you have to educate yourself before you go do anything, right? Because if you do forex trading and you lose all your dang money, I'm gonna tell you, shoot, you should have educated yourself, right? First, right? So God is good. I thank you guys. I want to thank my husband first and foremost for allowing me to do everything that I do and being supportive and everything, because he could limit me if he wanted to. But he allows me to do those things, okay? All right, so thank you, Daddy, and y'all have a good night, okay? Thank y'all for coming. Thank you.